Hi everybody, this morning I'm at Exploriem.org, Entrepreneur Network, and I'm Bruce Firestone, the Executive Director here. I'm an author, I'm the Sens founder, I'm a real estate developer. I've done a lot of different things. Well, the first time I actually considered 3D printing was not where you would think it was. I read a book by Neil Stephenson called The Diamond Age, and in the Diamond Age what Neil described was something called a matter compiler. So everybody would have in their home a matter compiler, and you would plug in a design, and within an hour or two, or sometimes less, it would produce whatever you want: a new dress, a new suit, cup of tea. And you might even go back even further. I think on the original Star Trek that played, I think in the 70s or even in the 60s, they had something similar where you could just go and order something from a matter compiler. So the idea of 3D printing is not new. Well, we've been looking forward to the 3D printing era. Imagine having something in your home that allows you to customize something that you want, and you design it yourself, or you download a design from the internet and you print something. It's a tremendous opportunity. If you need a new dress for the prom, or need a new suit for an important meeting or your Christmas party, imagine if you could just print it at home. Well, I think like a lot of things, the internet is reshaping every industry, and what that means is that whether you're in tech or you're in services or whatever, the internet is changing everything. So the internet will bring to manufacturing a distributed process that's really exciting. Well, you know, I saw a student of mine manufacture a piece using a 3D printer which controls the pitch on drones. So if you have a camera attached to a drone, it will be a little steadier if you use it. The cost of producing that was around 2 cents, and I think he was selling it for around $25. So you know, the margins are incredible, and the utility is very important. So even very small niches of very small numbers of people who need those kinds of things, they're going to get that. Well, I'm not sure that they really are aware of the potential of 3D printing to print signs and to print things that are co-branded even, so where you might have more than one brand going together. So if you have a Brooks Brothers suit and a BMW automobile and a Rolex watch, they could all get together and co-brand. So there's a tremendous revolution coming in marketing and distributed marketing where you're going to have brands on everything. You know, I was in Sweden not that long ago, and you know, I had 60 tech students, 60 of the top tech students across the country come and study with me, and you know, I think all 60 of them had you know, MacBooks. And so you think about the power of the brand and what's going to happen when you're able to print these things in your own home. Well, that's a great question. You know, if you have no experience in business and no experience in engineering, and you want to get into a business like 3D printing, that question begs an answer, and the answer is you should get experience in one of those two fields. You should never start a business where you're a dilettante, where you're an amateur. Business is about getting things right almost all the time. So I think, Lucy, the first thing that I would suggest is people get some skills either in business or in engineering or both. Well, you know, one of the things I teach is get the business model right. So the very first thing I did when I ran into product shapers and their business model was, let's fix that. Let's amend it, let's change it, let's tweak it, and produce something that will result in something like this. The harder you work, the more money you make. I think you're going to see an extraordinary explosion of creativity across the planet. People will be able to exchange designs over the internet and tips over the internet and produce amazing products from 3D printers. We're just at the very, very, very start of it, and I'm expecting to see $100 million a year businesses cropping up across the planet in this area. So Lucy, there's one last thing I think I should add. I really believe in the industry. I think that's clear. And I think Product Shapers, the business model that I worked with Michael on, is going to produce a $100 million a year company. I'm quite confident of that.